This is S4. Now sit back, relax, and keep your eyes to the skies.
Greetings, folks, and welcome to S4. We talk about the serious issues involving paranormal and current events, coming to you live from the S4 headquarters in the heart of the Cascade Mountains, here in our awesome studio in Cape Horn, Washington. So bear with us tonight because, well, we just literally got back from, well, with Cole, it was 5 days in the mountains. He's been gone since Wednesday. I didn't leave until Friday, and we literally just got back, which is why we are running an hour late tonight.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, I want to give a quick shout out to the whole Robinson clan. That was an awesome event. Thank you so much to all of you. And Tanner, if you're listening, you did an awesome job this weekend. You worked your ass off, so thank you.
Oh, and you know what? For my family's first time being at this family reunion, it was awesome. Very long, very draining, and we were only there for technically just 2 days, well, 3 days.
Yeah, it'll be better next time. I promise. There won't be like so many funerals.
Yeah, we actually did 2 funerals this year for Cole and Kayla's family. So it was a somber event. Next year will hopefully be a much better event. So tonight, anyway, it's July 11th. It's our July Roundtable, a week early since we've been camping, and we didn't really have a lot of time to research a topic for tonight. So we just figured we'd bump Roundtable this week. Also, because next week is our S4 Paranormal Radio 5-year anniversary. Yes, folks, we've been running for 5 years, which you can ask any podcaster. 5 years is actually pretty damn good for a podcast. And I don't like the term podcast because of the simple fact that we run live every Sunday. So technically we are a radio show. Also because we are on terrestrial radio with KSU 90.1 FM. So tonight we have a smaller than normal panel because, well, Joe is recovering from possible heat stroke, and Arnold will be with us actually in studio next week. So our heart is with you, Arnold. He lost his wife 2 weeks ago. So he's been out taking care of himself with her loss and actually taking care of her through hospice. So get better, Arnold. Recover. And we'll see you next week. So tonight we have our Keith, and our Keith actually just got a new. Didn't you get a new book out?
Technically, it's not new. It's but I just signed the contract with Author House for Birth of the Wolf Pack.
Outstanding.
That's the first book in the fourth trilogy in the series.
Okay, and we'll get to where you can get that and more details about that later in the show. We are running to what? We're running 3 hours tonight, right? Are we still doing 8 to 11? Or are we just doing 8 to 10? All right, so it's going to be a 2-hour show.
2 hours.
Because I know Cole wants to go to bed, and I need a shower.
Oh, my God.
What?
That would be so nice.
What? A shower?
I forgot those existed.
What, a shower?
It's been a while.
Oh, I got you.
That is the best after
water would be great
camp
besides
out.
being a stream, right? So yeah, it's only a 2-hour show tonight. Then I was leaving that up to Cole because I can go until 11. But yeah, we're in his studio. And then we have Nikki tonight and Harmony. And
Hi, everyone.
Hey, Tanner. Nice to see you on here.
what? Tanner's here?
Tanner's in the chat room.
Hey! Yeah, Tanner came from the reunion as well. So, yeah. We all had a very long drive here. Yeah, so bear with my voice tonight. My voice is cracked. Because we did campfires songs last night. Anyway, moving along. Next month, August. Hold on, I gotta find my notes. 11th to the 14th is Skagit County Fair. We will be there with our S4 booth. Also, August 20th and 29th at the Marble Mount Sasquatch Conference. So don't miss those. Mark those on your dates. Anyway, Keith, what's your first question tonight?
Anybody got any idea what the actual theory of relativity is? Not the one that was actually broadcast, but the one that he gave up trying to explain. I've actually got the answer to that, by the way.
Good, because Cole's got the deer in the headlights look, and I do too. You just can't see it. But Nikki or Harmony?
Sorry, no answer. No answer on that one.
Well, the one that everybody's told is E equals MC squared. The problem is that the original was actually 1 + 1 = 3, but it's not a mathematical equation.
Okay. Go on.
Well, it boils down to this. You have 2 points to any destination in any field, right? First point being A, the second point being B. So you get 1 + 1. The third point is anywhere in between that, in between those 2 points.
I like Robert's answer. Don't fall down. That makes complete sense to me. Yep, I don't like falling down.
Don't drink so much.
I don't drink. I drink coffee. I smoke cigarettes. That's not what makes me fall down. Yeah. Cole falls down too.
Oh. Yes, I do.
So we are actually violating the theory of relativity. Is there more to it?
No, it's actually a pretty simple equation. The hard part is trying to understand it.
Especially when, my brain's not functioning tonight. So very simple questions.
What I've always been curious about is, if gravity exists, why don't people speak more about levity?
Because they're taught to be depressing.
We are in a world of duality. Mm-hmm. What's that?
I say because they're taught to be depressing.
Expand on that?
If you take a look at modern society, pretty much everybody is talking about all the things that are going wrong in the world. And, when you look at the front page of papers, it tells you who murdered who robbed who tried embarrassing who. Basically it all boils down to how bad can we make other people feel. Okay, now this is not to say bad things don't happen, but it is a proven fact that what is on the front page of a local paper is what gets replicated. So it always confused me. I always wondered why it was the media was always doing it. Was always putting the negative on the front page. It turns out that people on the whole, in spite of 95% of people being decent people, a good 90% of what you see being broadcast, being retweeted, being reposted, is negative. Meaning the problem isn't with the media, but society has learned to be extremely cynical and to look at other people and say, if I can make you feel worse, I'll feel better by comparison.
Right,
frankly,
like
it
the
doesn't
drama
work that way.
sells.
Well,
Whatever gets ratings, right?
and I'm not going to sound very nice, but I just drove 5 hours over the pass and through Seattle traffic, and I think Nikki would agree with me I don't like Seattle traffic.
Mm.
I don't think anybody likes Seattle traffic.
I have a very low
Nobody
opinion.
likes it. What are you talking about?
I have a very low opinion of humans right now. Especially when people don't understand the concept of merging. And I've got a big truck, so I'm just going to push you off the road. Yeah, okay, fuck off.
Well, we had
it's not California.
a sign up here when I first moved into Kelowna up here in BC. There was a post in the local newspaper that said Kelowna drivers, rules of the road. And it started off with, and this is the way people up here drive. It started off with red means go, yellow means go faster, and green means park.
Uh-huh.
And it went on to tell you never merge, and if you're going, never permit somebody to merge, and if you're going to merge, make sure you cut them off.
Well, here's the other problem with today. Today, when we're convoying, my mind goes to military convoy. And I'm sorry, but if I'm in a military convoy, there is nobody getting between me and the vehicle in front of me. So that was part of my problem, too. And he was in a very large truck. Now, if I was actually in a military convoy, that piece of shit would have been pushed off the road. So, yeah, because I probably would have been in a military truck, obviously. So, yeah, my mind does a snap when I'm actually following Cole. Cole's following the trailer that was going from the camp. And we're actually in a convoy going over the pass to make sure the trailer made it safely. So, yeah, that was part of my problem. There is no room between me and the vehicle in front of me for another car to cut through. And if they do?
Yeah, that's a stressful situation when people try to get through in between like that.
And so in Iraq, I actually ran a Mercedes off the road because he did try to cut in. And I pushed him out of the road. You don't cut into a military convoy, and so my mind does do a military flip when I'm told we're following cars. So, yeah,
right.
It's been a very long 5-hour drive. But
see, now if you'd have been able to drive as the crow flies, you wouldn't have had so much trouble.
Right. But speaking of the theory of relativity, gravity would have been in my favor. Because gravity would have pushed him right off the road.
And here I thought you were the one driving.
I was driving, but I was in a very small car. Small car against very large Dodge 4x4 that probably has never been off the road because people don't understand what trucks are made for. Oh, look, I got shiny rims. Yeah, have you ever taken it in the woods? Oh, hell no. Oh, no. Oh, my God, no. My truck is too pretty for that. Yeah? Then why do you have a truck? So,
Yep.
Yeah, I always understood where it came to trucks that if you're going to go, if you get a truck and a vehicle like that, be willing to use it.
right?
I don't drive in the woods because, frankly, I get lost walking in the woods. Never mind driving.
Well, all the trees look the same.
Well, they really do. They sound different, but I still can't find my way out.
You find the first Bigfoot, and you ask him how to get back.
There's an easier way. Take a deck of cards with you. It's the only thing you really need out there, is what I was told.
Yeah, true.
You ever get lost? Well, if you ever get lost, you sit down, start playing a game of solitaire, and some genius will come by and tell you what next move to make. Ask them how to get out.
Hold on. I've got to ask Gnome. Gnome, do you have a truck, and do you take it in the woods? And I know he's going to answer. Because personally, if I have a 4x4, it's made for going in the damn woods. I don't believe in, oh my God, look at my pretty truck. But oh my God, oh no, I'm not going to take it in the woods because a branch might scratch it. Anyway, so recently I've seen where some think it's smart to challenge spirits or whatever is causing a haunting. Do you guys believe in that?
The haunting or the challenging them?
The challenging them.
Well, I think it's entertaining to watch people challenge them. Does that count?
I I think it's stupid. I think it's disrespectful because, well...
Oh, it's absolutely stupid and disrespectful, but it is fun to watch.
The spirits were alive at one point in time, and I'm sorry, you're going to challenge me, I'm going to screw them up.
Yeah, take somebody that can disassemble you and really see if you can take them off. This is a good idea.
Exactly.
And Jennifer's got a question in the chat room. What happened in the 1950s where people went missing? Now that's the shit, Gnome. You're awesome. So Gnome has driven his 18-wheeler in the woods down in Georgia to a rock quarry. That's awesome. And that's an 18-wheeler.
Now that's what you do with them.
Huh?
I said, that's what you're supposed to do with a big rig.
Absolutely. But oh my God, no, my pretty Dodge Ram that's got a brand new paint job. It's made for the city. Okay, get a car. Anyway, I'll try to fix my attitude here, but it's been a long 3 days. A long 5 days for Cole, so he's not going to say much tonight, I don't think.
I'm here.
So what happened in the and I'm confused by the question, but what happened in the 1950s where people went missing?
I would imagine a few of them were just, like, abducted.
And that's,
Like, are we talking all the people that went missing in the 1950s?
Yeah, I need more clarification, Jennifer, because you've got, I believe it was the 1960s where you have the Betty and Barney Hill abduction case, but they were brought back. So they were missing for, I don't remember how long because my brain's not functioning tonight, but they were taken and they were returned. But I'm pretty sure when you look at missing 401, a lot of the cases of missing 401, for example, did happen in the 1950s as well. That's not a new concept.
Well,
Okay.
and you've got the Travis Walton case.
So she saw a statue, and this was to do with hiking. So yeah, I would say that's the same concept as what's going on today and tomorrow, and I don't think that mystery is ever going to stop. I think the earliest case that I've seen documented, and I'm sure that it goes older than that, was actually in the 1920s. It wasn't it the 1920s where the farmer was walking across this field and just disappeared? I don't remember.
I don't know that story.
23 is what I just heard.
Yeah, 1923. Because that does sound right, literally. So yeah.
Somebody said it on the other side, so not a clue.
No, I figured. But no, and I'm pretty sure it started way back before that. I mean, this is one of those mysteries that's never been solved. Is it a point?
Well, that actually follows suit with. It goes along the lines of what a friend of mine wanted to know from Keith, but it deals more with. Okay, maybe it doesn't. It deals more with ETs, so never mind.
But I don't.
Well,
think
that was
Could be
very
asked later.
enlightening.
Sorry.
I don't think it was.
Sorry.
I don't think it was all ET. I don't think it is all ETs. I think it's government. I think it's ETs. I think it's. I don't think Bigfoot's taking
Portals.
people personally.
No, Bigfoot, no.
No.
Not their style.
Now what?
The Bigfoot clan, no, but other types of beings, yes,
Yeah.
definitely.
I mean, and it's even Fae. There's a whole. It's not one particular scenario. It's multiple things taking people. And that's one of the dangers of the woods, in general. So, anyway, getting back to the last question, where do you think it's smart to challenge spirits or whatever's haunting? Because we know it's not just spirits; it's different types of entities, even Fae.
Your name's not Shaggy or
Well, you don't challenge them,
Right?
no.
Or the Winston brothers.
That's just
Winchester.
Yeah. Winchester brothers. There we go.
Yeah, challenging spirits is just a plain bad idea from the get-go.
Well, it was It was brought up in another paranormal group, a Facebook group, where somebody asked that question.
There's something that you just don't do. I mean, it depends, too, on the spirit that you're dealing with. I mean, is it an evil spirit? Is it a spirit that's crossed over and come back and is just putzing around to visit? Is it something that really has some serious energy? I mean, you're talking... It could be anything. I mean, you're dealing with so many different... Are you talking about a pissed off spirit? I mean, hello. Watch out.
Right.
Well, yeah,
you got some
especially if
serious
you're picking
problems
a
if
fight
you're
with
going
one.
to challenge... Yeah, if you're picking a fight, you better have the balls and the audacity and the wherewithal to take on that challenge, man, because I'm here to tell you, I've been in hand-to-hand combat with some of them. It ain't pretty.
See, I get a
it
kick
gets
out of
down
it.
and dirty.
Well,
See,
I've always
I
gotten a
just
kick out of it.
automatically do things.
And Skywatcher,
I
that's
just
a good
automatic.
So, Skywatcher's going, why would someone want to do that? Well, that's again,
Exactly.
that's just...
Well, shows
It's
like
stupidity.
Zach Bagans, shows
I
like
chalk it
Dusty
up as
Richards do it all the
suicidal.
time.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I mean, I agree, Keith. I mean, if somebody, it's one thing if somebody doesn't know, it's something completely different if they've got the know-how, or not the know-how, but the knowledge, and they're challenging. That's just being, pardon my language, but just being an outright dumb F.
That's just ignorance. Because you got someone...
It's stupidity, downright stupidity.
So Ghost Adventures has been on TV for at least 10 years. And it was Taps before that. And, we can go, if we cuss them out, we're going to provoke them and make them mad, and then they're going to react. Yeah, okay, then you're going to scream like a little girl and run out. That's what...
most of the stories I've heard, it's gone awry.
If they really did what they could do, you would never, ever, ever want to challenge them. Ever.
Oh, hell no.
Some of the crap that they can do is frightening.
Most of them, if you go and talk to them politely and just carry on a conversation with them, they'll have no problem talking to you.
Oh, yeah.
That's
to me, it's kind of like shooting at somebody and asking if they're friendly.
Right?
Thank you. Exactly.
And, okay, so getting back to Noam's comment, too. So, Noam brought it up, and we brought it up on the show before, that you got the 3-year-old from North Carolina that went missing, and they found him 3 days later, and he was talking about the big bear that picked him up and took care of him. Yep. That wasn't a bear, that was a Bigfoot.
Yeah. That's what I thought, too.
I don't believe in Bigfoot abducting people. That's just me. Yes, there are some pissed off, mean Bigfoot out there. But what did you do to provoke them? And
he said that the child walked away and got lost in the forest.
Right.
And
right.
And he said that the big hairy thing, the big hairy man, protected me and kept me warm. And a lot of people believe that he was actually being protected by a Sasquatch or a bear, and a lot of people jumped on the bear, in the mainstream media, and a lot of other people that have more open minds understand that it was probably a Sasquatch because of the history of Sasquatch protecting children.
Well,
that's how I met my first one.
And again, that's not.
That's protected.
That's not the first case of that. That's happened many times where kids walk off and get taken back to the.
I'm one of them. But I don't get taken back. I got. I used to walk off. Family. I've been camping. My parents had me camping from 2-3 months old. No joke. Mm-hmm. And so. There were times where I had family, and we would have huge family gatherings, all the great aunts, all the great uncles, lots of family, all their children, all their adult kids, my age range as well, and we would go off and do things. And then there would be times where I'd be the only kid, and, I'd go off in the woods. Right? You got rattlesnakes. I never experienced what the adult family members would come back and go, "Oh my God, Nikki, you cannot be in the woods by yourself because there are rattlesnakes. We just had a rattlesnake go through the camp." Well, I never experienced it. Of course, I almost always heard wood knocks, didn't understand what they were, heard the woods go dead silent, and then all of a sudden there would be very specific sounds that it wasn't until a few years ago that I started realizing what the heck was going on. And it really hit me 3 years ago, where I actually, when I was up by you guys, up at Mount Baker, I got telepathic communication and got told, "You are home. You are one of us. You have always been protected. We have always been with you." And I'm like, what?
Yep.
What? And so a lot of these things that I experienced as a child, I never understood why everybody else talked about cougars and and I've since learned it's because I was always watched. And I always knew I had eyes on me, and I always knew that it was family, but I never understood, because my biological, they didn't come traipsing after me. They started calling after me. You can hear them because, hello, you call out in the woods, it's going to frickin' echo. So, or at least most of the times, depending upon if you're not on a hill.
I could never locate it.
Yeah, because, hello, it echoes. It radiates. So I never really understood, other than, being a psychic kid, I knew it was family. I knew I had eyes on me, and I always felt like, oh, okay. And so I just played. I played in the woods. I didn't have problems. Some people have told me, "Oh, you were a lucky kid." Okay. But yeah, they do. They watch out. The true Sasquatch clans, they watch out for the children. They can feel them, they can sense them, and they'll go and they'll keep an eye on them. Yep. They don't have to be just quote unquote family.
You do realize it's not just the children they watch out for; they watch out for the innocent.
Yes,
they watch the ones that are actually taking care of the lands.
Right.
Yep. The women. It's the women, children, travelers, and protectors of the forest.
Yeah.
Exactly.
They know your intentions the minute you step in their territory.
I had a friend just message me and said I had the same kind of camping experience as you. That's interesting. She's got Sasquatch on her property.
It goes back to Nome with hearing a story from some Bigfoot outlaws about a guy that was killed. He shot at a Bigfoot, was later found in his truck with his legs broken backwards, going the other way behind his back. You shoot at him. You're not going to kill him. You're going to piss him off.
Exactly.
And I do believe, and hi Christopher, great singing in the chat room. Hi Jennifer, hi Robert, and of course Gnome.
It's her every time she returns.
But I do think if they
I'm just thinking, shooting at them is just a bad idea, because if you're shooting at them, number one, you better have a much bigger gun than a .308.
Yep.
No kidding.
I'm thinking if you're using a law, it might work.
I'm not going to shoot at one. I have no desire.
Don't want to do that.
I have no desire to kill a Bigfoot. Bigfoot protects my property. I know that too.
They do, a number of people.
Reminds me of that crazy guy on Harry and the Hendersons with the big gun. He's always neurotically behind some tree trying to stalk down Bigfoot.
that was just.
Love that movie.
See, and the only reason you know that one in the back of the car was Bigfoot was because had it been a Wara, they'd have torn the legs off.
Right?
Now that's a good point. Jeez.
Oh. So, let's see. Harmony, what's your first question tonight? Harmony.
She's ignoring you.
Either that
Oh,
or she's
sorry, I was
upset.
on mute there for a second. My mute button was hit. Okay, so I grew up in a haunted house when I was young, and when I was probably about my preteens to my just early teens. And we had a lot of paranormal experiences there. And I was kind of wondering what some of your guys' paranormal experiences, if anybody has lived in a house with paranormal experiences, and or if you like your craziest paranormal experience.
Oh, that's the easy part. I live in one now.
There we go.
Yeah,
I've actually got a friend that came over with me one day, and we hung. I had a fanny pack on at the time. We hung it on the inside of the door. We were just coming in to go to the washroom and hang out again. So I hung it on the door, went in, did what we needed to, come back out, and the fanny pack was missing. We spent an hour looking for it. My buddy finally looks at me and goes, check under the bed. I says, why would I check under the bed? He says, I don't know. That's what the voice just told me. So we dig all the boxes out from under the bed. The boxes have been there for 6 months. They were sealed, packing tape sealed. We opened the box, and inside a sealed box, underneath the middle of the bed, was the fanny pack with my wallet and what have you.
That's awesome.
I'm sitting here thinking because I got too many. And most of them I've actually told on the show, so I don't like repeating myself. But let's see, I'll talk about Fritz. So Fritz was a German soldier that lived in the barracks that I lived in Germany. And him and I got along fine. He went room hopping. Every time we had parties, Fritz would jump from room to room. And one of our cooks was in my room. We were getting ready to go out clubbing that night. And I'm getting ready, and I told him, I got a ghost. He goes, I don't believe in no ghost. So I've been in this same room for, at least a year. I've never had a problem with my room. So he sits on my bunk, and the minute he says, I don't believe in no ghost, my bunk collapses. Like,
oh my
God.
goodness.
Dude, you pissed off Fritz. What the hell? So he fixes my bunk. We shake it, so we know it's not, we know it's stable. And he sits down again. And he says, no, seriously, I don't believe in ghosts. And it collapsed again. Like,
wow.
That freaked him out. He's like, okay, I believe in ghosts. Yeah. Okay.
How much do you need?
And then, of course, I lived in Dettelbach years later and had a knife that flew across my kitchen. I've had 30 years worth of paranormal experiences of everything from UFOs to Bigfoot, too many hauntings to even count. Cole, have you ever lived in a haunted house? No? Do you want to?
Is there a bed?
We can bring a Ouija board over.
Is there a bed? Oh, dear God, don't start the Ouija board.
Ouija boards are fun. I'll tell you, Ouija boards are not your biggest problem.
No.
The psychomantium is even better.
What?
Which one's that? Is that the mirrors?
Oh, Keith.
Well, a Ouija board works kind of like a telephone. A psychomantium is actually a physical portal.
Yeah, no, we ain't gonna. Well, so is a Ouija board technically. It opens a portal to the basement.
It does, but it's hard to get through it.
Right.
The psychomantium, the physical, can go to the other side.
Yeah, as long as you're using the safety measures and the protective measures, the Ouija boards are okay. They're nothing more than communication tools.
Now, when was the last time you know of humans actually using the safety measures?
Well, they usually don't. That's why they have problems, and that's why usually they go to the paranormal team that supposedly handles it, and they don't.
Yeah.
Let's see, Nikki, I know you've lived with spirits. Harmony, have you ever? What's your?
I would.
What's
you want me to
your
share
most
some of my?
memorial?
So I'll share a couple of them. So one time my sister was walking into the kitchen, and a crock pot, like a really heavy crock pot, flew from the back of the top of the refrigerator all the way to the middle of the floor and shattered into like 1,000 pieces, like right in front of her feet. And she was like really in an kind of an angry, upset vibe. And it could have been poltergeist energy. It could have been the spirit that we had there. We had a couple different spirits. One was very like friendly and protective, and the other one was really quite creepy and aggressive. And the aggressive one would mess with my mom's friends when they come over. We had a Halloween party one night, and her friend that was in the hallway, and she was grabbing her jacket out of the hall closet, and she like felt like somebody was helping her put her jacket on, and she turned around to say, you know, thank you, and there was nobody there, and she like got full body goosebumps and was like, oh my goodness, and she's like, I really got to leave now, because she was just going out to have a smoke or something, and she's like, I got to leave now. I'm not ready to be here during this kind of Halloween party, because, you know, the veils are thinner during that time anyway. And then, yeah, my mom's friend that it really didn't like was very aggressive, actually pushed him across the room. He was like a 6'2" tall man, pretty like heavy and, you know, pretty grounded kind of guy when he stands. He wasn't just going to get shoved across the room. And he was actually, you know, like shoved from behind. We all saw it, and it was, you know, scared him pretty bad too. And we also, I felt footsteps, or like my room was on the side of the hallway, and you could hear when somebody walked down the hallway, it kind of go down and like follow the steps. You could tell which way they were walking down the hall and everything. My bed was kind of on the other side of that hallway. And one night I thought my mom, that it sounded like her walking down the hallway, and I got up to ask her a question, and she was sound asleep in the living room, and the footsteps were going towards her room, and nobody else was in the house with us. And so I actually got very spooked, and I was like, oh my gosh, I think somebody's in the house. And, you know, we went and like got a baseball bat, I think, and we went and walked back to the back of the room, and no one was there. We like checked in the closet, checked under the bed, checked anywhere anyone could have been hiding, and nobody was there. And so we know that, you know, it was most likely the spirit after having those other experiences later on. So, and then I always had that weird feeling like somebody was watching me when the windows were down or the shades were not drawn at night. And so I feel like that was kind of like one of those feelings. Do any of you guys have that feeling that you're like kind of being watched?
Oh, yeah.
Always.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know, it was actually in the same apartment where the knife got thrown. We had two apartments. We had the apartment that we lived in. We had an apartment that I had my daughter living in over a Greek restaurant. Mm-hmm. And in her shower, yeah, she always complained about feeling like she was being watched. And there's a couple times I used that shower in that room, and I felt watched. So, yeah.
Yeah, the shower. Oh, yeah. We didn't even have windows in that room.
No, I don't think. Yeah, I had to have in the main room, not the bathroom. But yeah, there's been other houses I've been in where you always felt watched as well. I mean, especially around mirrors. But you know, mirrors are portals anyway, so you always got stuff looking through them.
Yeah. Right.
I remember living in one where we couldn't, and my wife and I at the time couldn't figure out what we wanted for dinner. So I opened the fridge, and the fridge was just about empty. But there was a bowl of tuna casserole sitting in the middle of the fridge. There was nothing else on the shelf, and all of a sudden the tuna casserole got thrown out in the middle of the floor, landed right side up. And my wife called out, and she goes, "What was that?" I says, I guess we're having tuna for dinner."
There you go. Something while you
yeah.
Something while you eat the tuna casserole. It was going bad. That's what it was. Or it was just a fay.
See, I still think the best one was when my wife at the time was canning peaches. And she was looking, and she had the knife sitting on the counter. She turns around to grab something off the counter behind her, turns back, and the knife's gone. She never blinks. She looks up at the ceiling, and she goes, "Look, if you're taking the knife, you're doing the work." Well, she turned back to the kitchen, and the knife was back on the counter.
Right.
Wow.
This is just normal in my life.
That would be me. That would be me. I have somebody private messaged me, and she goes, "I have," and I asked if I could repeat this on air. She goes, "I have a kitty named Frodo who has been teleporting into upper cabinets and other places in the house lately, only moments after turning my back, and no idea who is helping him. He looks a little confused, but not frightened." And she's the one who has Sasquatch on her property, and they have a trail on the property that the Sasquatch like to use. She has a lot of very interesting paranormal on her property. But that's a new one.
Mm-hmm.
These are young cats, too.
Let's hide the kitten.
Awesome.
So Christopher's got a question for Nikki. He's learning about a rather odd gene, which he has. Could I think it's Layans give us protective genes?
It's supposed to be aliens.
Oh, aliens. Okay,
Aliens.
okay. Sorry, I'm not here. Could the aliens give us protective genes like, say, 50,000 years ago?
Well, this was a question he wanted me to ask Keith, but he didn't mention the gene part of it. Matter of fact, hang on a second. One of the questions, where is it? Okay, Christopher. At this point, Christopher wanted me to ask: is it 50,000 years ago that the aliens started screwing with our human DNA? That was his original question, but now it looks like he's wanting to specifically know about
gene therapy.
Yeah, gene therapy or what he's calling odd genes, because he knows of a situation, and he wants to know, basically 50,000 years ago, were the ETs screwing with the DNA in such a way that it eventually reproduces into odd genes?
No, but
I think that's what he's getting into.
50,000 years ago, the Lemurians
were Keith's question.
Yeah, 50,000 years ago, the Lemurians were well established, and they were capable of modifying genes in their own bodies. Therefore, the few that remained when their society collapsed may well have continued the evolutionary path. But the Lemurians were human.
Right. So as humans,
the Lemurians were human.
Lemurians were human. They are also the current Mobians.
Okay.
Oh,
But they weren't
that
playing
makes
with
more
genes,
sense.
They were
Thank
modifying
you.
their own.
Mm-hmm. So, you know.
That makes more sense. Thank you.
I hate bringing this up because we've talked about this on the show. Is it RF negative? RH negative.
Oh, we were just having this conversation, a whole group of us.
The thing is, Rh negative is not a blood type. It's a protein that's missing from the blood.
Yeah, it's the O negative that's the
O negative,
blood
right.
type.
Yeah, there you go. But Rh negative, and it drives me nuts. Some people think Rh negative means alien or psychic, or no. You've got psychics that are A positive, A negative, O negative. That's got nothing to do with it, in my opinion.
Isn't it like the resuscitatory gene from often from inbreeding? That's why you see it in the royals a lot, is because it's like it's a recessive gene, like an animal will get from an inbreeding situation.
Mm-hmm.
The funny thing is, the blood type is not what they use to determine and to pin somebody down unless their research is specifically targeting that type or that protein.
Mm.
They don't. It's not a case of, oh, they've got that protein or they don't have it, let's go get them.
Right.
It's specific to whatever research they're doing.
Mm-hmm. Jennifer wants to know, can anyone tell me why Neanderthals were so different than us back in their day, the way they looked and lived, etc.?
That's relatively
Well,
easy.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I would say the difference is it's kind of like that piece to the puzzle of the missing link. It's who we were before the DNA interaction and genetic modification of the original human that was here on this earth. And Neanderthal would be like that human that was there. It was here in that time.
What do you think, Keith?
Well, it had to do with the evolution of technology, as it were. As they learned how to use weapons and what have you, they no longer needed the muscle mass. Okay, and net result, they became less developed in that level. Evolution took over, and they became a weaker frame.
Do you think the Earth changes and the Earth climate changes had anything to do with it?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because don't forget, as the oxygen levels dropped, mankind, the Neanderthal size had to shrink as well.
Was Neanderthal around during the Ice Age?
Yep.
Okay, that makes sense. Nikki, what's your first question tonight?
Hang on 1 second. I got a list going. They're a couple of pages long, so hang on a second. Okay, let's see. I'm not doing that one yet.
Hey, at least your mic was on.
I had just unmuted too when I
Perfect.
Hold on.
Okay.
So, real quick, I want to add to this a little bit, because Skywatcher says he knew a man years ago that had a face and body that looked like a Neanderthal. You look at Andre the Giant, for example. Do you think Andre the Giant was like kind of the last phase of the Neanderthals?
Go back, yeah. Although, in all fairness, he was closer to Gigantopithecus. Probably a halfway step between the two when you look at the genetic makeup.
Right.
Oh,
yeah. Yeah, there are a number of folks who fit into the true giant category.
Yes, he was very intelligent, Skywatcher. I completely agree. So, Nikki.
I have a question from another friend whose name is Troy. He is asking if anyone saw bright flashes of white light. He reports seeing some of them, I assume last night, and then a mutual friend of his and mine who lives completely across the opposite side of the country reports seeing the same thing at approximately the same time in the early morning. And he wants to know if anybody else has seen anything like this. Very, very bright. He left me a message saying he was camping. He was on top of a mountain, and it was so bright that he had, at the time, he had his sleeping bag over his head because it was just sunup. And it was so bright that it went through the sleeping bag, and that's what caught his attention.
wow.
When was this?
So, this morning. I'm
today.
assuming it was this morning because the post from the other person was from today. Okay. So, and he just came back from a pretty big camping trip.
Yeah, we were.
Now he's in Washington State.
We were in the mountains. We never saw. Well, I never saw anything. Did you see anything, Cole? No. Yeah. Where were we? We were in
Blewett Pass.
Yeah, Blewett Pass area. And yeah, we never saw it there.
Okay, I will let him know that, because he was like, wow, it was really intense, and the female friend that had posted the information on her page saw it from her home.
Okay.
So in the wee morning hours their time. And I'm like, wow, okay, that's their 4-hour difference. But approximately the same time as he saw it. And I'm like, what would be so bright that both sides of the countryside would see it? And how far up would that actually have to be for both sides of the country to see it at approximately the same time? And I don't think it was the spaceship that went, the spaceship. Good grief, it's not a spaceship. I wouldn't even call it a shuttle. Anyway, the billionaire who I can't think of his name at this second. Anyway, yes, went up this morning for all of a few minutes into outer space. Anyway, and then returned. I don't think it was that. I don't think that would be that bright of a light.
That wouldn't cause that bright of a light unless it blew up.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, and and it definitely didn't. So,
Huh.
Yeah, we can
anybody
safely
has
say
any
if it landed in
information-
one piece, it didn't blow up.
Yeah.
We'll have to,
Oh, yeah.
We'll have to check the UFO reporting center. They're usually a couple days behind, so I'll have to check it like on Tuesday and see if everything came up for today.
Yeah,
Well, see, I thought
anything
you guys
here
might
where
have
I'm at.
seen.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, neither did I. And I was up early in the morning. I shouldn't have been, but I was. I just figured you guys might have seen something because you guys were out camping. So.
Yeah, and no, I don't.
Okay.
And I never heard there were like 100 people, and I didn't hear anybody talking about a bright flash of light.
Well, okie-doke.
I was sleeping, so me and my mother-in-law set up a living room in the middle of a campground. We slept in our recliners, and we had an end table with a doily on it and flowers in a vase for it, and slept under the stars. I would say I was up till at least 2 every night.
Well, it's kind of hard for you
And
to
then
sleep.
up by 6. So there was I don't remember seeing anything.
Just stars.
The stars.
Oh
were
my
insane.
God! You're in the middle of the mountains, literally. You know, it's amazing the difference between Cole's backyard with very minimal street lights, so it's still dark. But the difference between that and literally being on top in the middle of the mountains is phenomenal. It's almost like you can reach
it's
out
like
and
pitch
touch
black.
the stars.
Absolutely.
And I don't even know what elevation we were at. We were at least 2,000.
I don't know what Blue Pass is.
Yeah.
Brad.
I think we were. I remember seeing an elevation marker. I think we were at least 2,000 foot. So on that note, I need coffee, so we're going to go ahead and take our first break. And when we come back, I'll ask another question. And then we'll go.
Priorities first.
All right.
You are listening to S4 on Spreaker.com.
Welcome back to S4 with your host, Eric Cooper.
And welcome back to S4 for our last hour of the night.
Sorry.
Yeah. So if you're just joining us, yes, Cole and I just got back from a very, long camping trip. And we're dead to the world. So next week is our 5th anniversary show. We are going to have the same panel tonight, along with Dave Scott from Spaced Out Radio, and Michael Hall from UFOI Team and Spaced Out Radio, and possibly a couple more on the lineup. Oh, Arnold's going to be here in studio with us, actually. And then we have a couple others that actually might be joining us as well. I have to get them locked in. So it's going to be a very large panel next week for our anniversary. And, yeah. So, my second question tonight. Did you guys find yourself disappointed with the government message about UFOs? Especially now that we're, 2-3 weeks out and they haven't updated anything? Or have you guys heard anything new from the government or the Pentagon about their report?
Oh, God, no. Mind you, am I disappointed? Nope. No, I knew they weren't going to do anything with it.
I mean, that's what kills me.
And they're pulling
we're going to release this big report about what we found. And it was 9 pages of bullshit. And no addendums. Nothing new. I mean,
on the plus side, they were consistent.
Right? Yeah, considering they were supposed to have disclosure, back in 2017. And,
right.
Here we are, 4 years later. with nothing but, oh yeah, we'll take our reports from the military and airline pilots, and all the experiencers out there that have been talking about this for 100 years. No way I can listen to them because only the military is valid, and only our airline pilots are valid. Anything else is bullshit. That's kind of the attitude they had. Now, in all fairness, if you were a military pilot, you knew better prior to now than to say, hey, I saw this weird craft in the sky. Other than World War II, where they had the Foo Fighters. They had no problem talking about Foo Fighters. Or Gremlins.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, they weren't, back in the 40s and 50s, I think UFOs were a lot more accepted. With Foo Fighters, anyway. But back then, they also treated Foo Fighters as Soviet or German weapon systems. Until the Soviets and Germans said, huh? No, we thought they were years. So, yeah, when it comes to national security, they did come out and say, we do think UFOs are actually, UAPs are, not, good for national security, yada, yada, yada. And that's all, that's all that came out of it. The only other thing that came out of it was, yeah.
I'm personally of the opinion if you've got UFOs at your beck and call, you actually have a much better security system.
Right.
Yeah.
And yeah, Gnome, so the old style 1950s coffee saucer, you still see that today occasionally, but not near like you do the cigar-shaped, the triangular-shaped, the flying pyramid, which I think is, it's not new, but, it was caught in I think it was a Navy craft that was flying, that saw the pyramid-shaped craft. So Jennifer, what did you guys think of the flight with the space plane today? I never heard about it.
It's
who heard about the space plane?
The billionaire. Oh, I saw it. I watched it.
I was surprised he launched himself, if he actually did.
Who was it?
Was it Virgin Airlines?
Branson,
Yes!
the guy that
Richard
the
Branson.
Virgin Records guy.
Branson.
Yeah, Richard. Thank
Richard
you.
Branson.
Huh.
The Virgin
Yeah,
Records guy.
he-
Yeah, apparently he launched himself out into space for the space mission.
Well, he's only 15 years late, so yeah, that's the only way he's going to prove to people that this is safe, is by launching himself.
Well, Bezos is going to do on July 20th, and he's
Right, that's
going
what I
up.
heard too.
What is it? 10,000 more feet or 20,000 more feet than what?
Do you
And
guys,
I'm like, seriously, you two?
do you guys
really?
find this shit crazy? That, 20,
Mhm.
30,
I
40
think it's
years
stupid.
ago, everything was NASA. Everyone was
Yeah,
looking
now it's all
at
private
NASA.
companies.
And now you've got 11 billion billionaires going, I'm going to build me a rocket, I'm going to go to Mars. Yeah, okay, good luck. And they're doing it.
Yeah.
Oh, they're doing it to make
And they're
a point,
like
and I'm
leasing
like,
government facilities to do it,
why?
which is interesting.
If you're going to do this, why don't you go up there and stay up there for a short amount of time instead of the few minutes that you were up there? Actually spend a couple of days. Then that would impress me. This
was
to
he
me
only
was
up there for a
absolutely
couple minutes?
yes.
Oh,
He
geez.
took. I mean, it was ridiculous. You could actually watch it in a matter of 12 minutes, and I was like, "This is boring." And then they were having technical problems, and I'm like, "What is the point of this? To prove that you could do it? BFD. Pardon me, but what is the?" It was like, no way. If you're gonna do something like this, go up there, go out, stay up there for a few days. Then come back. That'll impress me. I don't think there were a few people in the chat that were watching it live that were like, "Oh, congratulations!" I'm like, "You got to be kidding me!" I mean,
Right. It
yeah,
must be
it's
like
a
you
big.
said, just to prove
Here's the
something.
thing. You go up and pitch a tent on Neptune, I'll be impressed as hell. You just launched a
no
rocket
kidding.
that everybody else has been launching. And I don't get me wrong, Skywatcher.
No, it was a bit different.
I agree. I
It
think
was a
it's
bit different.
I think it's great to a point. Little steps, yeah, I
Yes.
get it. But
Yes,
what
I
about
get
the
that.
ocean?
I would.
What about the parts on planet Earth that we haven't even explored yet?
Yeah.
Thank you.
You know, space.
Well, that would be nice.
Space is great. You know, whatever. But we have
We're back. Okay. So
we have the Mariana Trench that no one's been down into. And we have.
Oh, they have. They even bring him back.
Well, the thing is, we have unidentified submergible objects too. So you want to look at aliens? They're not just in space. They're not just interdimensional. They're underneath the ocean as well.
Exactly.
And that's here. That's here on Earth.
okay, somebody on the spirit side just said space race all over again.
It is.
Really?
Yep, exactly. Like you said, to prove something.
But
it's like they're trying to
right. We got to beat China.
Yeah,
the
China and Russia, I believe, already
Brandon
have them up there.
Mm-hmm. That's what it seems like. You know, okay. And we were talking about this, what, a couple weeks ago, Cole? That now that Washington, D.C. is a 51st state, we got to go up to the moon and change the flag?
Yep. Got to be done.
And they've already planned it.
Yeah.
It's more important to go up to the moon and put the new 51st flag, 51st star flag, which we don't know what it's going to look like yet, on the moon.
Go up to the dark side of the moon.
Yeah, well, for
Excuse
calling
me.
it the dark side, it's amazing how active it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no kidding.
They can't go to
Yeah,
the
they're
dark side of the moon.
getting all sorts of imagery coming out from behind it.
The Transformers are already
Go
on
to
the
the
dark
other
side.
side.
It's too dark.
Go to the other side of the moon. Go to Mobius. You want to impress me? Go there.
There you go.
Circle
impress me,
around
take
that
me with you.
planet. Hello. Yeah. I mean, come on.
You don't even hear about Mobius. I don't know.
That's
maybe
because, and that's the stupid thing, because NASA knows it's there.
why don't they look at Mobius because it's more Earth-like than, I don't know, Mars? But no, wait, we want to mine Mars.
Which I think if you talk to the Martokians, you may find that problematic.
What's
Just a
going to be
bit.
problematic? Well, I don't know. Now I may sound stupid here, but
their planet.
We're going to mine Mars, and we're going to create all kinds of, mine dust or debris and whatnot that's going to cause more problems, isn't it?
No, I think you'd have
Well,
a
that's
war
what
on your
happens
hands.
here
That'd
on
be
Earth.
a higher problem.
And let's definitely not frack
I've
on Mars.
I have memories. I have childhood memories of being on a ship and watching. Actually, okay, somebody just said the second I say this, they're going to start calling you crazy. I don't give a diddly. I have memories
Been there,
of
done
being
that.
on a ship as a child, being in space and being shown certain nebulas that I didn't even know existed until the last couple of years.
Right.
I mean, I nearly dropped the phone that I had in my hand when I saw it on Facebook had put up a NASA post, and I used to call that the Infinity Galaxy when I was a child, and I went, how the hell do I know that? And I went, oh my God. And then all of my memories of all the different nebulas that I had seen, I started remembering those again. And I went, and I realized that I started shutting off those memories from the time I was about 8 years old, 9 years old. I mean, I had my grandmother telling me, shh, we don't talk about those things. You'll be called crazy. Well, so effing what? I love you, Grandma, but so what?
I'm lucky.
I've been called so many other names, it's not even funny. So, you know what? Fine. I'm crazy. Let them call me that. But I know what I've seen. I know I know what I've seen, and I'll swear to it.
See, that's where I got off lucky. Because I had a number of shrinks actually tell me I was perfectly sane.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, I have doctors that are like, you're coming out of the closet. What do you mean? And I'm like, I'm recently stating that I've been a closet psychic. And I'm actually stating it now to the medical community. And I had one doctor go, "You're full of shit." And I'm like, "No, you have your grandmother sitting, she's actually sitting right next to you." Well, actually, she was standing at the time, and then she sat down, and I'm like, how is she sitting? That's beside the point. Anyway, I had a conversation with his family while I had one of my medical appointments. And he went, "I believe you. There's no way in Bilipiti that I would have known about any of that." I'm not one to, I mean, I'll check a doctor out, but I mean, medically, I don't give a diddly squat about their personal life. Are you kidding me? So as long as they're a good person and they're darn good at their medical practice, you know, that's what I care about.
Well, but that's the
and
thing too.
he was like, whoa.
I don't think you know, and you're right, Robert. Crazy is speculative. I think today you can talk about paranormal, aliens, Bigfoot, and you'd be surprised. So I wear an FMP T-shirt once in a while to town. Izzy and the kids wear, and even Cole and his family wear their Paracon shirts to town. And it's amazing the amount of people that actually stop you because they want to tell you their Bigfoot story or their UFO sighting. Or so I don't think I think 10 years ago, you would have been the term crazy may have come out by a few people a lot more than it is today. Now that you've got the Universe show, you've got all these new documentaries coming out. You've got more and more people that are seeing things, and you've got more and more people that are starting to accept the fact that there might actually be aliens because the Pentagon said it, or there might, Bigfoot might be real because more and more people are having experiences. So I don't think there's a whole lot of crazy anymore. Every once in a while, you're going to have some blind idiot that may have seen something, but in their mind, it wasn't real. Or the ones that just absolutely refuse to believe in anything, especially if it goes against their religion.
Well, I like the way it was put to me one day. The people that believe don't require proof. The ones that don't believe, no proof is possible.
Right.
Correct.
Which is a little overstated, but pretty accurate.
Well, Robert said till I found the images. Yeah, Robert White helped me with searching out some of the nebulas and some of the whatever else they're called, the regions in space. And he was like, "Well, okay, have you seen this?" I'm like, "No." "Have you seen this?" No. "Oh my God, I remember that one." He printed all of them up. He's got them up in his bedroom wall because he shares a house. So where else is he going to put it? He can't put him in the living room because I don't think his family would appreciate that. But I mean, he's got them posted, and I'm like, wow. I mean, if it weren't for Robert's help, there are certain things that he's helped me with some of my memories. And it's like he got into my head and goes, "You need to turn around in this one memory." I'm like, "I can't. I'm not ready yet because the smell is going to make me vomit." And yeah, he says looking at them now behind the computer crack me up. Anyway, he goes, "You need to turn around in this memory." And I'm like, "I can't." And he goes, "Yeah, I can understand why." And there's too much. There's certain things I'm ready to do with some of my memories and certain things that I'm like, nope. And yet I'm having contact. I had an ET in my room just this past week that had told me information, and I'm like, oh my God. And it pertains to us humans, and I'm still kind of like blown. Yeah, sensory overload, Robert. I'm still blown away by all of it. Yeah, I was way too sensory overloaded. So yeah, I mean, there are things that you remember and things that you'll never forget, you know, and things you deliberately put out of your head or try to file them away. But that's beside the point.
What's your next question, Nikki?
Actually, it follows kind of along the same lines. Okay, before anybody says anything, because this is long, I had to write this down, and I didn't necessarily write it the way I wanted to the first time, and I didn't alter it, so we'll see how this goes. What does the panel think would happen in the public and the media globally if a U.S. government multi-agency, once hidden book on all the known UFOs and every race of extraterrestrials were ever shown to the media and put on public display? Now, this is a book which shows thousands of government documents, diagrams of every ET race, all the drawings of what they look like, the descriptions and corresponding ET aircrafts with detailed descriptions and analysis, government analysis, of each race and aircraft. And all the corresponding government agencies involved include it. It shows all the corresponding government agencies involved, including all the names of vast old programs, where this book went from the 1940s and 1930s and 1940s into the early 1980s. What does this panel think would happen in the public globally if that book were ever to surface? And just how dangerous of a book would that be to the ones holding on to it?
I don't think it'd be dangerous at all, and due to the fact that all the other governments have actually already released their information, probably not all of it, but we're the only country that the government has not released their UFO files. The UK already has, Argentina has.
Russia.
Mm-hmm.
Russia has released book long time ago. Yeah, long time ago.
So, globally, when you're talking globally, I don't think there'll be any kind of panic or any kind of danger.
I do.
Huh?
I do.
Okay, what about in the United States?
The question would be why globally? Why are they all of a sudden releasing this all at once?
They didn't.
But if they did, Eric.
Yeah, the question is if they did.
Why are they? So, what are they trying to hide? What out to everyone's faces to hide behind?
I guess though the question would be if they all released them all at once would be you're absolutely right. Why? What's coming? That would be the why. As because are they getting you ready to prepare for something coming?
Right.
Jennifer, I think you're right. It depends on people's attitudes and perspectives. Now, I think the danger would be. It's one thing to release all these. Oh, look, there's a pretty UFO. There's there's aliens out there. The problem would be the abduction side, because now you've got all these people going, wait, the government allowed alien races to abduct people?
Yeah.
That would create the pissed off side. They actually do already have a book of alien races that's supposed to be within the all the presidents are supposed to see it when they take office. They don't release it to the public at all. But you know, the Russians released their the Alien Races book by the KGB. It's available online. You just look for the Alien Races book, KGB, and it'll pop up, and it's free.
Yep.
But I think it depends. I do agree.
Okay, so
I do agree. It depends on how the public perception took it.
and what do you think the U.S. government would do to somebody if they ever found out that a number of somebody's owns that same book?
They would disappear.
Yeah, or be
It
dead.
depends on how mass produced it got. You know, if it was like
500
published,
copies. 500
Oh, yeah,
copies secretly.
500.
500 copies secretly published.
500 people would disappear. That's not that big
yeah,
of a
most
stretch.
likely.
They
That's
killed
kind of
six-
probably what's
So
already
with their
happened.
families.
They
Time
killed
and time
6,000.
over.
But
Right.
anyway, no, 500 people would disappear because 500 is as easy to control. Now you're talking
Yeah,
millions.
that's a minuscule
different.
number.
Yep.
Yeah.
You're talking how many millions of people live in this country? Yeah, 500 that'd be an easy number to control. You'd have 500.
Okay, I'm going to read you some.
You'd have 500.
I'm going to read you
people
something.
disappearing.
Yep. Okay, so I've read the book. It's with quote unquote high end, what I call quote unquote collectives or collectors, excuse me. I have a photographic memory of this book. I had it in my hands for many hours. I told a certain agent about this book, and 4 days later I had problems with certain types of people simply because I asked about this book.
Huh.
So they want it,
I want to see this book.
and they want the copies of it, and they've tried to access me to get it. And I have not ever once stated where I got my hands on this book.
Hey,
And I never will.
Nikki,
Yeah.
I want a copy of it.
I want the book back. I want to be able to. I mean, I'm making this public. I'm making this book, and it's going to piss people off. The people that I used to know back then, if they still live in the same area or their family does, and they ever hear this and they hear that because I was allowed to have access. Actually, it wasn't just me. It was a good portion of my family was allowed to have access to this book. Now, I'm the only one living that remembers this book. My mom has Alzheimer's dementia. Yes, Robert, of course, it will piss them off. Yes, it will really piss them off. And I told my spouse tonight, I am going to make something very, very public. And I can't believe I'm doing it, but I'm going to do it. I've been asking about this book publicly for a while now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm stating this publicly for the record on this radio show that if it draws the attention of the CIA, I don't give a rat's diddly, because I'm not going to state where I got my hands on that book. But if they come after me again the way they did, I will protect myself. I may not be able to physically protect myself. Somebody could probably take me down physically, but I do know how to protect myself, and I have when they've tried to attack me before. So, that said, if I am attacked again, I will be making it very public that I have been attacked
Here's
again.
the thing, if they ever attack you, period, you should always protect yourself, regardless.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, absolutely.
So, but my point is that if this book is so detrimental that they would send somebody, or not just somebody, but a team after me to get it, then why is, I mean, what are they so freaking scared of?
Right.
I mean, it acknowledges every single race of ET and hundreds. I remember almost every single page. And this book was very, very thick and a multi-agency book. And it started back in the 1930s, 1940s, all the way until the early 80s. And if you're listening, maybe this book wasn't supposed to be printed, but somebody, according to what I was told, secretly got it out. All the documents, everything.
Good.
And, yeah, I have memories of exactly how this book laid out, how it was done. It was year by year by year, month by month, day by day. I mean, it's every document you could ever imagine. And I was asked, well, have you seen the book publicly? And I was like, well, that's what the agent asked me. And I was like, well, I've been wondering if it's been parted out, because I've been seeing bits and pieces of that book in other books. Really, is what his response was. And I was like, yeah. He goes, so you think the book has been parted out? And I said, it's very possible. Because a lot of the stuff that I've been seeing online, I'm like, that is a direct, those are pages. They're just very large pages.
And a lot of times, with the government, they can use plausible deniability to say, "Oh yeah,
exactly." And why wouldn't they?
Yeah,
that's the thing.
Right.
Why would they come after somebody if it wasn't extremely important to them to keep hidden and to keep secret? And the collectors that I was told about, they've got power. Why I was given an access to this book was because of one specific psychic. She saw me publicly talking about it years later, and that's what I'm doing now. So my question is, if a book like that truly comes out of hiding, we all know that the media would rip it to shreds.
Oh, absolutely.
But at the same time, the government could try to deny it, or would they stay silent? Because if they stay silent, which is what their typical pat answer is to almost everything, keep everything hush-hush, don't say a word, because once you even state one word about it, it becomes
fact.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So,
right.
How many people are they going to try to out and take care of and deal with, especially with the way they tried to deal with me? I mean, I have people that on numerous occasions, and I am just told right now that I should not say who. Okay, I was going to lead to something, and I just got told don't do it. So basically, those individuals helped me protect myself while later on, after the first initial attack, certain individuals decided to return. And I and a couple of others appropriately dealt with them. So it told me how badly it was wanted. And I'm like, really? Let's just see how badly. Well, we found out. So my question is, realistically, and I want a realistic answer. I mean, I want somebody to answer that. What do you honestly think would really take place? The paranormal community would go, unhinged. We all know that too.
Yes
But
and no. Yes
logically,
and no. Because honestly, last year when they came out in the midst of a pandemic and said, yes, the Pentagon's got off-world vehicles, even the UFO community didn't. They didn't even react. I was surprised by that.
Just like,
So
oh yeah, we knew
that's
that.
true. That's true.
honestly,
Yeah.
would they come unhinged? Probably not, because like anything else,
Yeah.
it's fake. I mean
Okay.
that's honestly
Yeah.
probably what would happen. And
That could happen.
most of the listeners on our show have had an experience. That's why they listen to us for, or they want to learn more, and that's why they listen to us for. So, our listeners probably they wouldn't even flinch. UFO community on a whole, yeah, it'd be just like last year when the government came out and said, yeah, UFOs are real. Nobody even, I was surprised. We talked about it on the show, and nobody said, no.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the masses, wouldn't be as shocked. I think it would be the people that are, coming after people with this information that, would be riled up and pretty on the defense about it. It kind of ties in with the question that I was going to ask, that, some say that the prime directive has been lifted. Do you guys think that there is or was paranormal or extraterrestrial interference with geopolitical international affairs? So,
Good question.
is this something that maybe is connected to that in a way? Maybe that's one of the reasons why they don't want the public to get their hands on it.
People have been looking to blame other races for their own stupidity for centuries. And that's what that whole crock is all about. Number one, this is the thing that doesn't make any sense. If off-worlders were interested in taking over the planet, we wouldn't be having this discussion.
Nope.
At all.
Maybe not taking over the planet, but directing it in a certain way, the way outcomes,
Given the different races, there is no point in trying to direct the scattered way that Terran politics run.
You don't think
It's
that
kinda like
has
trying to hurt
anything
cats.
to do with, like, maybe the Zeta Reticuli agenda?
If the Zeta Reticuli wanted to control the world, they wouldn't be bothering with this petty politics, spending centuries doing. They'd land
Oh, maybe they're not trying to control the world, or they're just trying to alter their DNA so that we
Not
don't
in the
become what
slightest.
they were.
That's the thing. The Zeta Reticulans don't require humans to have a different DNA. Besides that, it completely contravenes the whole idea of leaving the database here in one piece.
Mm-hmm. So why do you think that they're mainly noted as being in charge of the abductions?
Because humans don't want to look at their own backyard and go, we're the ones that are causing our own problem.
Right.
The off-worlders are very simply, they're interested in the data that is here, absolutely. But they are not interested in corrupting it to make it what they want. Humans are the ones that have a real nasty habit of rewriting their own history to make it sound really good.
Well, isn't that the story of, like, the Anunnaki and, the Sumerian culture thousands of years ago?
The number of stories I've heard on that level are absolutely insane. But the reality from my standpoint is real simple. The off-worlders aren't causing the problem. Are they doing abductions? Absolutely. Are they doing
What about paranormal?
hybridization? Absolutely.
What
Okay.
about paranormal experiences, ghosts and things?
Paranormal simply means anything that's outside the accepted norm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's extraterrestrial. So I'm going to piss some people off with this. Most of your geopolitical bullshit is caused by the United States.
Yeah.
You've got Russia who's poisoning spies, But you've got the United States. You've got a random assassination of a. How many countries have we actually put the president in power, or the prime minister, or the it's endless, and the United States has caused more problems than you look at Delta Force. Delta Force alone is trained to go in and take over a country. So you want to talk about geopolitical problems? They're human caused, not extraterrestrial.
A story I heard was about several different presidents down the line, probably some of the early ones, I believe it was, that were visited by the ghost of Saint Germain, or even maybe an apparition of the actual Ascended Master. It's debatable, but who actually helped give them certain secrets. And there's, many different leaders throughout time in the geopolitical setting that have, consulted upon psychics or, in that respect wanted to connect with, extraterrestrials on different levels or connect with paranormal ghost activity, psychic mediums and things like that in order to gain certain insights upon, the world.
But what they keep forgetting to mention is the contacts that were made and the contracts that were made, the humans broke. This is why the off-worlders won't step in and solve many of the problems. Plus, of course, humans created the problem. If the humans wipe themselves out, it won't matter to the off-worlders. Mm-hmm. Okay, At this point, they've gained what they required. It's just easier working with human DNA than it is with some of the other stuff.
Jennifer's got a question for you. I think you'd be the best one to answer this one, Keith. I wondered if some of the people are part reptilian and that's why they're not going to tell us. What are your thoughts? Call me crazy, but something to think about. And I'm
certainly not going to call her crazy.
No, we don't call anybody crazy.
There is no... I'm the last person that you want to ask that, but where it comes to reptilians, is it possible some are? The answer is definitively yes. But that's not the problem. Okay. Go back to the late 70s, early 80s, and you have a show called V. That is where most people come up with the brilliant idea that reptilians are taking over the political area.
Right.
But
True.
Are there some partial reptilians? There's also part Lyrans, part Pleiadians. There are a number of hybrids living on the planet.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, there are.
That's not where the problem is.
Mm-mm.
So, what is the purpose of the hybrid?
The hybrid is actually simple.
Go ahead. No, say what you're going to say because it's probably going to follow suit with what I was going to say.
The hybridization program is to grow cultural interpreters. Okay. Yep. Humans are the easiest to work with as far as DNA goes, which is why they take, and because humans are the caretakers of this particular library, if you will, that's why they use humans to hybridize with other races. However, that said, DNA, they already, humans even already know that cultural memory is contained inside the DNA. Now, you can build a computer and program in different languages, and you can get the different speech patterns, but you will not get the cultural references. By growing cultural interpreters, hybrids, you have an individual that not only can be taught both languages, but will instinctively know the cultural interpretation of what they're being taught. Net result, better communication lines. But it's not from a control standpoint. It's from a comprehension standpoint.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And what were you going to add, Nikki?
Well, July 5th, which was, I believe, Monday, may I read you something that I was specifically told? I woke up out of a sound sleep talking to somebody. Kind of freaked me out, and I realized that I had a male ET. I sat up and I sat on the edge of my bed and I ended up having this conversation with this male ET, and this is what he told me about bloodlines.
Mm-hmm.
He's specifically telling me that, quote, you come from an ancient bloodline, more ancient than what's believed and what is known. That ETs are abducting us. We knew that already.
Mm-hmm.
ETs are taking from the original ancient bloodlines of Earth, keeping track of them, keeping their lines as pure as possible, making hybrids of them so that those lines never, quote, fade out, so they never, quote, dwindle, never, quote, diminish, never, quote, die out. They're taking hybrids from those bloodlines and, quote, replanting them on other planets all over the solar system, quote, unquote, repurposing them onto other planets. It goes on. Hang on. This deep conversation with him, yeah, it went into a great deal of information. Let's see, where else does it... I asked... No, wait a minute. Where are you? 1 second. Sorry, guys.
I bet you have notebooks all over your house.
That's what I asked. Yeah, matter of fact, I just found a box to put them all in. And I went, yes! You have no idea how happy that made me. Here it is. I asked, okay, so what else is there that I need to know? His response was, the bloodlines are pure. You are from the original seed. That's what he called it. Seed on Earth. Not every human being that's being taken is from these lines, but many are. We are trying to save as many races as is possible. Your hybrid children, your hybrid children are being made with a purpose to endeavor to rebuild our populations so they thrive before all is lost. Excuse me, I couldn't read my own handwriting. Before all is lost. I asked, what do you mean before all is lost? He said, no, now is not the right time for you to know that. It's not the right time for all you're going to tell. It will come that time for your populations to know what is for your populations to know, but that is not now, but soon. Don't worry, you will know, you will be told. Then you can announce it. And I was like, I shook my head and dropped my chin to my chest, because I was like, he knew.
No,
he knew I was going to talk about this, and I was like, oh my God. Okay, so when I'm told and when I'm allowed to tell, then I'll verbalize it.
that means we'll all be alive when it happens. Yay!
Yes! That's what made me happy too.
Right? And I'll be able to explain it to my kids and help them through it.
Yeah, exactly. He goes on and he said, those who follow you because of their own purpose will listen. Others of your race will call you crazy. I tell you now, you are not crazy. Never have been and never will be to come. You are sound. You are one of us. You are strong and built for... And he paused, and then he said, and I said, the long haul? He said, yes. You will develop into a more loving and open beings, and once that happens, this will change and shift for your race. You, Nikki, have come for the beginning of this change, and your children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren, and so forth and so on will be your lineage. It is because of you that you realize now, with what I'm telling you, just how significant this really is and what it truly means. You beings are loved and must remember that. And I said, thank you. No, he said, thank you for being my writer. I must go now. And he said, "You will learn more as time goes on in this life of yours." And I asked what his name was. I'm not going to say that online or out loud,
Do you remember
publicly.
what race
I
was
said,
he?
never got that far because he was starting to, the energy was starting to fade out, and I could feel him literally lifting from my bed and leaving. And I was like, I was so overwhelmed at the time. I was like, you gotta slow down. I gotta be able to write this. I can't write that fast.
Right?
So
real
I
quick.
used to be able to write very fast.
So real
Yeah.
quick, because we're coming down to the last 14 minutes of the show. So Jennifer says, what about someone like me that's been through menopause? Would they try to take that for me too? Anyways, ovaries already gone, etc. Usually, so women that have gone through menopause, they don't abduct, at least for the hybrid program.
Yeah, they stopped taking them.
Yeah, there's a certain phase, because I know there was a case that we did with FMP that there are 3 phases. Children is phase 1. I guess middle age is phase 2. If I remember right, I'm trying to remember how this went, and I'm already tired. But phase 3 is they stop taking you, but they check on you. But no, yeah. You're fine, Jennifer. So with that, again, if you're new to S4, make sure if you're local, come visit us at our booth at the Skagit County Fair next month, August 11th to the 14th. And again at the Marble Mountain Sasquatch Conference, August 28th and 29th. Keith, your book just got reprinted, correct?
Yes, it just got popped up onto Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and AuthorHouse.com. And I just found out it is actually listed locally in the biggest bookstore we've got in town.
Awesome.
Excellent. And how far along are you on Alien Races second edition?
About halfway through it, I think.
Excellent. And yeah, make sure you check out Keith's Alien Races book. Where can you find that one? The first edition?
That one, if you go to my YouTube channel to Inner Voice Enterprises, there's a whole list of ways of getting a hold of me to actually order that directly, because I haven't turned it over to Author House yet.
Okay. And Harmony, where can we find your book and channel?
Oh, yeah. You can find my channel on Wildcraft Wellness on YouTube and subscribe for free there. Lots of awesome videos. Actually just did a really good interview. Just launched it a couple days ago. So check out the newest videos on that. Subscribe. And then you can check out Birthing a New Paradigm is my book. And you can get a copy of that on Amazon as well. And you can also get an inscribed copy on Etsy if you check out my page on Wildcraft Wellness. So, yeah, definitely thank you for having me on.
Excellent. And we'll see you next week, too, as well. And Skywatcher, yeah, you're absolutely right. Most of the races out there, they don't mess with the elderly. They don't abduct them. But yeah, they'll take you for a ride if you ask nice. Absolutely. So again, next week is our 5th anniversary show. We are having Dave Scott from Spaced Out Radio. We are having the panel from tonight, Michael Hall, the paranormal lawyer, the founder of UFOI Team, and also the weekend Spaced Out Radio host. He'll be on for the first hour and a half of next week's show. And we have a couple others that are kind of, I'll be working on getting on, that were original S4 hosts. So, next week, 5th anniversary. And on that note, we are wrapping it up a little bit early just because, well, we need showers and sleep for damn sure.
I'm here.
Huh?
I'm here.
Are you here?
I'm here.
Barely. Anyway, everyone in the chat room, thank you for listening tonight for a 2-hour show.
Sorry.
Yeah, thanks.
Traffic was crazy. We were sitting here going, "Oh God, we're not going to make it for 7 o'clock." But yeah, so yeah, it's a shorter show tonight, but still a great information out tonight. So with that, we will see you next week. Stay safe this week. It's supposed to be hot and sunny. No rain in sight. And remember, keep your eyes to the skies.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us tonight on S4, the official voice of Forest Moon Paranormal. You can contact S4 through our website at www.s-4radio.com or on Facebook. Make sure you give us a like on our page and join the Forest Moon Paranormal group. If you are interested in advertising, take a look at our packages and contact Cole or Eric at 1-360-999-2830. Again, thank you. And remember, keep your eyes to the sky.